Right, we're going to talk about troll picks, ladies and gentlemen, because people are absolutely crazy when it comes to this kind of thing. Loads of games get thrown because people assume that because somebody's going to play Bastion, or Torbjorn, or Symettra, or Pharaoh, and I'll explain all even Widowmaker, for example, they go crazy and they lose their mind. Look at the chat here. Look at the chat, right? What has happened here is we have just held successfully on the defense with a Bastion, Reinhardt, and Anna combination, okay? The enemy team had a lot of chances to counter this, but they didn't. If you're just going to keep running into the Bastion, well, that's your fault. That's silly and that's poor play. Overwatch is a game about swapping your heroes, swapping your composition, swapping the way you play to counter what the enemy are doing. And this isn't a low-level game. This isn't like some, really low-level game. This is a master-level game. I think I'm borderline master in this video, but I've been playing tons of games doing the same sort of tactic with people who are literally in the top 20 in Europe, and they still complain and they moan about troll picks even though we win these games. It is absolutely ridiculous. So you can see the enemy team there have gone crazy. They're throwing, you can see they're tilting. They're starting to go mad. There's actually more vulgar stuff was put into the chat, but I decided not to show that on the video because, I'm better than that, whatever. But I'll give you a taste of what's going on. So this idea of a hero being a troll pick because it's an off-meta hero, which means it's not favoured in the game at the moment, it's just crazy behaviour. So I know why people moan about this, and we are going to get into the details as to why that is the case on this video, but the one thing you have to take from this video, please take it from it right now, is if you do get somebody who plays Bastion and he's on your team, don't think to yourself, this guy's throwing the game, get off Bastion, we're going to lose. Or maybe he wants to play Torbjorn, or maybe he's playing Symettra. There are some examples and some cases where it might not be the greatest. If you see a Symettra on a control point map, alright, that's kind of iffy. But if they're not going to change, then work around them. Don't throw the game. There are loads of games that either end up in a win or a defeat just because the team have given up before the game even starts. Now, the guy we're playing with at the moment who plays Bastion quite a lot, he said he'll play Bastion and it's pretty much 50-50, right? You either get a team which just tilts and just doesn't want to play, or you win. Now, when your team are together and they play, you win. We have literally won, and I'm not even exaggerating this, 18 games I think it is, like 15 or 18 games on the trot. We just don't lose with this combination because the enemy don't counter it. Look at this. This guy, Marty, fucking shit team though, after he types GG and easy in, right? He was on our team. What the hell? He is tilting after the game is finished just because he thinks it was a shit team, but the team won. I don't get this kind of mentality. So let's go into this detail. Well, let's go into details. I'm getting hilted. I'm getting heated right now because this really pisses me off. Because what the hell is Overwatch about, guys? The core of Overwatch is about swapping heroes to combat certain situations. You don't know what the enemy... That was a beautiful earth shout. You don't know what the enemy are going to do when the game starts. So if you're on Route 66 and they come out with a Bastion on the payload and you're not ready for that, you're going to have a hard time countering it. But maybe you take a couple of quick deaths, you respawn, you change your team, and then you come in to counter it. Maybe you start rolling with a May. Maybe you, I guess, go for a Pharah. Maybe you bring out a soldier. Just anything to try and burn the barrier down. Maybe you even bring out your own Bastion. There are a load of different ways you can deal with this, but teams will just continue to do whatever they want to do. Like they'll say, "Oh, play Genji. Genji's a counter to Bastion." Not really, because if Bastion just stops firing and Genji does nothing, then Genji shoots and Bastion fires and kills him. It's just utterly ridiculous. So what you end up with is a situation where your team will tilt, the enemy team will tilt, or, well, I guess to be honest, those are the main problems with this. If you see an off-meta hero, which would be, and I'm going to list them, so get ready, and I'm going to explain why these are off-meta and why people may tilt when this happens. So we'll start with the obvious one. We'll start with Bastion. Bastion's seen as this low-tier scrub hero that is only used at the start of the game and he kills all the noobs. That's great. Have you guys ever watched any kind of pro Overwatch? You'll see the surprise Bastion, where it just comes out of nowhere, right? And a team's not ready for it, and they push quite successfully. However, in the next phase, that team are then ready for that Bastion, and they counter the Bastion, so it's no longer effective. What happens on the ladder is, teams are not countering this kind of tactic because they just stubbornly want to keep playing the Genjis, want to keep playing whatever they're playing, and they don't want to change, they don't want to work together, and that causes them major issues. And it's not like this is happening at low levels either. I mean, this is Masters, and there are Grandmaster players and top 500 players in these games. So if they're losing their mind and tilting over it, I just don't get it. It's crazy. So let's move on to Symettra. Symettra is an interesting one, and Symettra might be maybe the reason why you might see a lot of people starting to moan about this kind of thing. Because sometimes you will get Symettra used in situations where, honestly, I don't think she should be used. Like, you probably shouldn't be using her on a control point. You probably shouldn't be using Symettra on attack. There have been games that I've won with Symmetra's on attack because she's dropped the teleporter in a really nice position, but it's not standard. You could say that that kind of is pushing it a little bit. But even so, if you do get a player that is just going to play the Symettra, do not be that guy that starts going, well, I'm not going to play the game then. You threw the game. No, you have just thrown the game. If that player is stubborn and they want to keep playing that hero, you have to work around them, guys. It's not a troll pick. Maybe it's literally the only hero they can play. And yeah, shit, unlucky, you've ended up on the same team as them. You have to work around it. That is what Overwatch is about. It's just, it's making me mad. Widowmaker's the next one. So you'll see Widow, right? Oh yeah, Widow's troll pick. Don't play Widow. She's not good. You know, she's not getting kills. Well, Widow's been buffed, right? And if Widow jumps up on Temple of Anubis on the attack, gets 2 quick kills, well, you've taken the point. Widow's done a job. So you have to have faith sometimes. This is the other issue with the troll pick situation. People will pick somebody like a Widow and they'll say things like, yeah, I'm going for a quick pick, which means they want to try and get a quick kill. You'll see this happen on King's Row. You'll see it happen on Temple of Anubis. But if they don't get the kill and they're not actually doing anything, then they need to change. If they don't change and they stick on the hero and nothing's working, well, then that will be a problem. So they have to sort of be a bit clever and change. If they don't, then again, it's your job as the team to try and work around that, because just moaning about it will result in another loss. And this whole thing about troll picks, oh my god, it's a troll pick. God, it just sends me crazy. Who's next? Torbjorn. Let's talk about Torb. Torb's been buffed. Torb now generates scrap passively. This means he can drop armor packs way more regular, which is really, really strong. Also, Torbjorn's turret is not a piece of shite like people seem to think it is. This thing can, well, it can shut Sombra down for a start. It can shut flankers down. It's a nightmare for Tracer. It's a nightmare for Pharah. It's really good. When that turret is placed down, it can really add to the defense. And Torbjorn, he does quite a lot of damage himself anyway, so he can be okay. Torbjorn on attack though, alright, maybe not the greatest, but still it could kind of work. Like, you've seen in this video, Bastion on attack is clearly working because teams are not trying to counter it. They're just trying to go standard sort of team builds against it, and it doesn't work. You have to counter it. Just saying it's a troll pick, it's not the way to go about it. Pharah, this is the other one. So, when I spoke about this on Twitter, a lot of people were like, Sty, what the hell are you talking about Pharah? She's not a troll pick. Now, I think that is more relevant to sort of high diamond and masters level, because what will happen is, as soon as that Pharaoh locks in, the team will go, well, we don't need a Pharaoh, because they're frightened of the McCrees and of the soldiers, who tend to be quite accurate and can shut the Pharaoh down if they play right. But even so, if that player wants to play Pharaoh, then just work around that player. Maybe pick up a Mercy, maybe go for the Pharmacy combo, which is the Mercy and Pharaoh, where you sort of damage boost and look after the Pharaoh with the Mercy, so she's got like a pocket Mercy. And that's really effective. You know, so there are a lot of ways of working around this. It just drives me crazy when people just come out with this stupid excuse, or it's almost like they give up. They give up. Listen, do not be that person who goes into a game and sees you've got a Bastion on defense and just gives up. Don't be that guy. Maybe you want to play Diva, right? Maybe you're a tank player and you see the Bastion. Think to yourself, hey, maybe I should play Reinhardt because that'll supplement the Bastion a little bit better. You're working around that player. You're trying to make it work. You are trying your best. Overwatch is a team game. It is not about one person going around and killing the enemy. I mean, I've got a very extreme example of this. I'm not going to show video footage just because, I mean, part of me wanted to show this, but I'm not going to show it just because, well, I think I'm better than that. But this guy was playing, he was 3,780 something rated, so you know that's pretty high masters. This guy wanted to play Soldier. The guy on our team though had already locked in Soldier, and this guy wasn't in the voice chat, so the team asked him join the voice chat, and the Soldier didn't, so whatever, he's going to play Soldier. So what this guy then did, instead of just playing around this and maybe picking McCree because that's kind of similar to Soldier, or playing some other hero, he locked in Junkrat and kept jumping off the map over and over again, while saying in the chat, F you, F this, you're all the worst, you're terrible, you deserve to lose, you're no good at this game, when actually that guy caused the loss. And we were on Volskaya Industries, so he was jumping off right at the start of each spawn, like he'd run out of the attacking spawn and jump into the icy water, or he'd do the same at the defender spawn. I mean, that, to me, I just wanted to get this guy, right? And I wanted to slap him. And I'm like, what is he doing? But we still tried, and it was a 5v6, so we got rolled. So what can you do? So everybody on the team lost rating, because this guy was like, you've locked in a hero I wanted to pick, so now I'm going to troll pick, and it's all over for you. But that's kind of getting away from what this video was generally about, because what I want you guys to just realise is, just because a hero is not considered in the meta right now, doesn't mean that hero is completely crap and should never be played. Bastion is totally viable when the enemy team don't expect it. The player here, Gibbe, who we're playing with, who plays a lot of Bastion, you can see he's got golden Bastion weapons. He instantly swaps off Bastion when he knows it's not working. Like, he'll go to a Reaper, he'll go to a Soldier, he'll swap it up. But when it's working, why would you change it? You see, you're giving the enemy team a problem. You're saying to them, excuse me, would you like to do anything about this? What are you going to do? I mean, look at this is beautiful, right? Look at that. That was actually a nice move by the enemy there. So they gravitoned us because they could see all three of us are up top, and then they threw Diva's mech at us. But luckily, it landed sort of on top of my shield, and I was able to angle it back to take the full blast onto the shield, which stopped the damage killing those guys, which was like crazy. But even so, that could have broke us, but that little bit of a flick by me sort of kept us going, and off we went. Because playing Reinhardt in this role, you have to be very patient. Just standing there with your shield up is not what it's about. You've kind of got to look for opportunities to go forward and move. Like you can see now, I'm starting to engage the enemy. But yes, guys, listen, right? Do not throw games because you think somebody has picked a troll pick. If somebody plays Torbjorn on a control point map, just go with it. It might work. If they play Symettra, just go with it. It might work. Do not get involved in an argument with them, and do not try and force them to swap their hero, because they'll just leave voice chat. And if they do that, it's going to start tilting the other team members. It's going to affect morale, and you're probably going to lose. And the worst thing you can do is start shouting at players on your team. Come on, guys, don't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about this below. Give me examples of times this has happened to you, because that'll be interesting to read. I've been Salo, so this is Unit Lost, and I'll catch you next time. Toodaloo.